Sure. You guys have an office over here?
Yeah, he's back here in the
Oh,
back.
okay.
Come up and get you.
So the courthouse is open, huh?
Pardon me.
Okay. I thought everything was closed for like 6 weeks or something like that.
Most things are closed. A lot of the people upstairs are working from home.
I see.
Is there a list of who's going to court today?
It should be up there.
Yeah, but I don't see his name. I was in court yesterday and they said he'd be back here at 2:30. But I don't see his name up there.
Okay, which court?
It was courtroom 338.
338. You can go up and look since you're here.
Yeah, 'cause
That's Superior Court right there.
Yeah.
So if you want to go up and try the courtroom upstairs, see if he's there.
Okay. Well, I mean, he's in jail.
Let me bring him over or have it by video.
Hey, how's it going?
We're not taking
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. What's that?
I have a room reserved over here.
Okay.
Come on in. Okay, this way. Take a right, and then you'll see the door back here on the left.
Oh, nice conference room. Wow. Very nice.
So thank you for coming down today.
No problem. Appreciate the contact because I honestly didn't think you guys would do nothing about this. I'm really surprised that you're actually, taking this serious and,
Well, we take every complaint serious. I'm going to go ahead and start my
Sure.
recording.
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Serial, I have started my recorder. Do you know that you're now being recorded?
Yes, I do.
Do I have your permission to do so?
You do.
Okay. Today is April 23rd, and the time is now 14:12 hours. And this is in regards to a transaction or an incident that transpired on or about December 9th,
Sounds about right.
2019, on the 12th floor of the courthouse.
Correct.
What happened that day?
So I just came in. I was doing some regular filming. I'd never been here before. My first time here.
What do you say regular filming? What do you mean by that?
So I go around. I film public places. I do First Amendment audits
Okay.
on facilities, and I just check to see how public servants are acting towards the public and see if they're doing their job correctly. And everything was fine until I reached the 12th floor. When I reached the 12th floor, I didn't think I was inside the courtroom. I've been told I was inside the courtroom, but I've never seen a courtroom that had like a wall and then separated like that. So I thought because I wasn't on the other side that I wasn't actually in the courtroom. And I was standing kind of like on the edge of the door. So I was realistically, I was in the hallway. And so basically when I got to the 12th floor, the lady, I believe she's a recorder, some type of like courtroom recorder.
Okay.
She wanted me to leave the facility, and I asked her, I'm not inside the courtroom, I shouldn't have to leave. And so she told the judge and the judge wanted me to come to the front door. So she held the door open, and I spoke with him, and I asked him. He asked me, "Why am I here? Am I here for like someone? Am I videotaping for someone?" And I said, "No, I don't know anyone here." He says, "Are you press?" And I said, "No, I'm not press." And then he told her to close the door. He called her Miss something. I can't remember her name.
Okay.
He told her to close the door, and then they made a phone call, and then so at that point I was already done recording. I was there for I'd say at least 15 minutes, and so I go down the hallway, and I'm about to exit towards the elevators, and then as I'm opening the door, I see 3 sheriffs or marshals. I think they're marshals, but they approached me, and there was a short African American one, and he said,
Okay. How did you know they were sheriffs or marshals?
Well, I didn't know they were marshals until after. I assumed they were sheriffs because they work for the county. So they have like the sheriff, like, you know,
Can you describe?
sheriff style uniform. They have like the little things up here. They have like kind of, it's brown. It's like a dark brown color.
Okay.
Most sheriffs have like a, but it was, I guess it's darker than outside. If you know what I mean. Like I've seen sheriffs on the outside in the public, and they're lighter brown.
Okay.
So
was it a brown shirt?
It was a brown shirt and brown pants. They were matching.
Okay.
Like dark brown and chocolate or whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
So the African American sheriff or marshal says, this must be the guy. And I'm thinking, okay, these guys are just going to talk to me and tell me to leave or something, or tell me not to record in there. So then there's another white guy, a larger, taller white guy. And I said, hey, how's it going? And he says, fine. And then he did some weird, like, I don't know what to call it, like, but I want to say it's like some type of, I almost thought he knew like some type of karate, the way he moved his hands, and he tried to duck his head around, and then he grabbed my camera. He grabbed the stick.
Okay.
It was like he was trying to psych me out, like pretend like, not so I don't see where his hands are coming from. And I just didn't expect it, you know. It was like really odd to me that he did that. And then, so as he did that, he grabbed the camera, and I'm pulling and he's pulling, and I decide to let go because he's pulling with such force that it's like it's starting to hurt my arm. I can feel it hurting my forearm.
Okay. How long was that struggle going on for?
Probably less than 10 seconds. Not very long.
Okay. So less than 10 seconds?
I'd say less than 10. It could be more than 10 seconds, but it wasn't. It was less than a minute.
So was it a kind of a push pull?
I was holding it like this. I had a grip on it, and he was pulling it. He was trying to yank it from my hands, and so basically, I gave up because at that point I felt like, okay, this guy's gonna try to arrest me for like, say I'm hurting him or something. Say like I'm trying to like attack him or something. So I wanted nothing in my hands because I knew that if he took this camera, there was cameras surrounding me in that hallway. And so basically, he took it from me. He turned off the camera. He went and turned off the camera. And then at that point, I told him, you know, you hurt me. You shouldn't have did that. And then he says, oh, yeah, right. Oh, yeah, right. And then basically, they want to escort me to the elevator. Well, there was a third sheriff, skinnier white guy, and he wanted to be behind me. And I don't like people behind me. I don't think anyone does. And I tried to like get him to go in first. Like, I'll go in, just you guys go in first. And he wouldn't let it happen. He wanted me after those two guys. So I decided to go in. There was a lawyer inside there. There was a lawyer that watched the whole thing go down, and he looked really dissatisfied with. He didn't say anything, but I could see the look on his face was like he was really dissatisfied the way they were treating me in that, you know, because he saw them yank it out of my hand. Not them, but the one guy.
Did you recognize the lawyer from anything, or would you know him if you saw him
I
again?
didn't. Yeah, I would recognize him, but I'd never seen him before until then. He was representing some lady inside the courtroom that her boyfriend was in jail or something like that.
Okay. So they were in the same courtroom you were videoing in?
Yeah, but they were on the outside. There was that wall, and
Yeah.
she was sitting in the benches, and I was way behind the benches on the like kind of, I was almost in the hallway. I want to say I was in between the hallway and the front entrance.
Okay.
So, the judge didn't actually tell me to leave. He said, "Miss, close the door."
Okay. Did he say anything else?
No, he just told her to close the door.
Did he ever tell you to stop recording?
He asked me why. He asked me what am I here for. He asked me if I'm press, and I think I said, "What is press?" Actually, I think the exact words I used was who is press, who is press, and then I think he just he didn't tell me to leave. If he would have told me I had to leave, I would have left because he's the judge, right?
Yep.
So, but he didn't tell me. The recorder wanted me to leave. The lady. So, I took it as he didn't care. I figured that since he told her to shut the door and I wasn't inside the courtroom, I figured that he meant like, okay, I'm not going to worry about it, you know. And I was already leaving. I think I walked out of there like 5 or 10 minutes later, and that's when I met up with the 3 marshals that were.
Okay, so let's go back to the elevator. So you got on the elevator, and then the other marshal got in behind you?
Yeah, there was a white marshal, younger than the other 2, probably I'd say in his late 30s, 40s, and dark hair. He wanted to get behind me, like he wanted to escort me in the elevator, but he wanted to be the guy behind me, and I felt like he was. I felt like his attitude was more like aggressive, like you're gonna go in here or I'm gonna force you in here. It was getting to that point. I thought that's why I went on my own free will, because I felt like he was gonna do something with his hands forcefully.
Okay, did he make any motions to do anything?
Like
Did he move his hands? Or?
Like when I tried to step around him, I think, to let him go first, and he made some motions with his hands. I think he was like, no, you, like something like, I don't remember exactly, but it was something like, like you go, like you're gonna go in first, like we're not letting you go last.
Like, please get on the elevator?
Yeah, maybe like that, maybe, but it wasn't please. It was like, you're gonna go or I'm gonna make you go.
Do you remember, did he say anything in particular? Do you remember?
I don't remember exactly what he said. I'd have to rewatch the video.
Okay.
But I felt it was more aggressive hand motion than any words at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened on the elevator ride?
The elevator ride, there was a lawyer, and I believe the lady that he was the lady, her boyfriend, he was representing was in there, and they were just, he looked at me with like, you could just see his face, like he was quiet.
Yep.
He was super quiet, and he was looking at me like you could, I don't know how to explain it, but he looked dissatisfied. He looked dissatisfied with the whole thing because he knows I was just recording. I wasn't doing anything harmful or against the law. And he looked super dissatisfied, and he didn't say nothing. No, nothing was said. And then basically we get down the elevator, and they escort me out the building. Yeah.
Did they escort you all the way outside the building, or did they stop at the exit door?
I believe they
On
stopped.
the inside.
They stopped at the exit door in the inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And then basically, I think I was standing outside still filming. I think I went around to the other
So
side.
when they, let me take you back a little bit. So when you got off the elevator and they took you to the exit door and they stopped on the inside, did they return your property to you?
Right. He gave me my property probably right before we exited the building.
Okay. Did you have to ask for it, or did he offer
He
it?
offered it.
Okay.
I think he ended up just, he was pretty calm at that point. At first, I felt like he was really agitated, but then I think he calmed down during the elevator ride. And then I think he was pretty, the guy that was more aggressive, I think he calmed down during.
Which one again was that?
The bigger one, I don't remember
The
his
bigger
name.
one?
The
Okay.
bigger white guy, older.
Okay. So so he gives you your property back and you exited the building?
Correct.
Okay. What happened next?
So I went around the building to the other side. So I came in from the east exit. I think it was the east exit I came the first time
Oh, the one up off of 4th Avenue?
yeah.
Okay,
Up
across
front.
from the administration
Right.
building?
I think that's
Okay.
where I was entered and I exited. And so I went around to the front entrance on the third side, the west side, and I seen that the sheriff that was trying to get behind me, pushed me in the elevator. I seen he was standing there and he was smirking, he was laughing at me. And there was a security guard, African American security guard standing next to me, a big guy, really big height and weight.
Okay.
And he was probably 6'5", 500 pounds, And I told him that those guys attacked me. I said, those guys attacked me. I told him that, and then he didn't say nothing. He was quiet, but the guy was laughing.
Which guy?
The sheriff. The sheriff was laughing through the glass, the doors.
Okay.
Because I think that side was locked. I remember that only this side was open that day. The east side was open, the west side was locked. So you could only enter or exit from the east side. And he was standing over there, like just, I don't know what he was doing over there, but he was smirking and laughing. And I think at one point I flipped him off because I was really frustrated and angry with him, what they were doing. To me, I felt like they seemed like a group of people, like almost like a gang. Like they knew each other, and they were like, they've handled people before, and maybe they had some type of understanding. You know,
What do you mean by handle people?
maybe I'm not the first person to walk in here with a camera. Maybe they don't tolerate that, and I guess I'm kind of remembering things. I haven't watched the video in a long time, but let's go back to when I'm leaving the courtroom. I open the door, and the African American walks up to me and he says, "This must be the guy." And then he also said, the African American said, when you're told by the judge to stop filming, you stop filming, and that's when the guy grabbed my stick. But the judge didn't tell me to do that. So
The judge never told you to stop filming?
he never told me to stop filming. He only said
Did any of his staff ever tell you to stop filming?
the court recorder.
Yeah.
The court recorder says, "Sir, can you please stop filming?" And I told her this is a First Amendment protected activity, and that and so she said she stopped the proceedings, and she told the judge to "Sir, whatever his name was, judge," and he wanted me to come to the door. She held the door open, but she wouldn't let me in through the door, and she wanted me to talk to him, and so he was like, "Are you press?" I said no. He says, "Do you have business here? Are you here filming for a case or someone you know?" I said no. And then he told her, "Miss, close the door," and that was it.
And that was it?
Yeah.
Okay. So your business into the King County Courthouse that day was just to do your First Amendment audit?
Well, I was actually gonna get some paperwork too for
Okay.
I was gonna get some complaint forms and stuff like that. And I didn't know where to go.
Complaint forms for?
Well, I've had previous incidents with other officers, and I was just trying to.
With which officers?
I don't know the names.
Not names, but what agencies?
I'd say so. I've had incidences with CLPD and King County Sheriffs,
Okay.
and I didn't know where to go. I'm completely new to this building.
Okay.
I don't know where to go, and I started with the 12th floor. I figured to work my way up and go down, and so basically, I think I didn't know where I was going in this building. I was figuring.
Did you ask anyone where you could find anything?
There was, before all this took place, there was an African American lady that worked at a front desk. I believe it was on the 12th floor on the west side, and she was pretty friendly. She gave me a lot of information, but she didn't know herself exactly. She knew her department and what her department does.
Okay.
And she kind of tried to help me, but I think she gave me a map or something, or gave me a pamphlet.
Okay.
And but she didn't really know, and I just told her it's okay, don't worry about it, I'll figure it out.
Okay. So you're here to get complaint forms?
Right.
Okay. Was there anything else you were in the courthouse for?
No, I had no other business here other than that.
No other court dates, meaning you're not suing anybody or
Nope.
appearing for anything or trying to get an order against somebody?
Nope.
Okay. And are you a member of the press?
Technically, everyone's a member of the press.
Okay. Have you ever been issued a press pass for anything?
No, but I can make my own.
And did you obtain any permissions from anyone to video inside the courtrooms?
No, I did not.
Okay. Yeah, we've already asked this. The court clerk asked you to stop recording. You were recording for First Amendment audit, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And the marshal that took your selfie stick from you,
Yeah.
did he say anything, or did he just take your stick?
He didn't say anything, I believe. I believe he just did some crazy hand motion. He was, I thought maybe he thought he knew karate or jujitsu or something, and so he did some weird hand motion and then went grabbed it. I think he didn't want me to see it coming, but I wasn't I wasn't expecting it, and so he didn't say nothing. I believe I believe I told him he hurt me, and then he says, "Oh yeah, right." I think that's like the only thing he said was, "Oh yeah, right."
Okay. How were you holding the your stick?
So I hold
up
it
here, down here.
I hold it
out
like
front?
this.
Just like that.
Yeah, when I'm meeting, like I hold it like this.
Okay, with your hand just above waist level.
Right.
Okay.
And I think he grabbed it like up here,
Okay.
somewhere up here, and then
And when you said you hurt me, what did he do again?
so like my hand's on the bottom, right?
Okay.
And I'm holding it with force, right? He's pulling like this, so he's so you can see where I would be straining my arm because I have the lower end of it, right?
Okay.
The higher end would have the more
Leverage.
leverage, correct? Yeah.
So, did you told him that hurt you up there on the 12th floor?
Right.
Did you tell him again at any point?
So I went around. I saw him and the security guard. I said something to them, and then I was really upset that they did that to me. And I went back around to the east side where the door was open. This might have been 10 or 15 minutes later. And I was filming outside the door because I was scared to come in because they said I was trespassed. I think he said I was trespassed at one point. I forgot who said that. But I wanted their names. I wanted to know who they work for. And so I decided, I mustered up the strength to go inside. And as I did that, I spoke to an older gentleman, very polite, very nice, sitting, a sheriff.
Okay.
A sheriff sitting at that east entrance. And I didn't come inside. I didn't go past the screening, the x-ray. I stayed on the other side and I waved him down. I did this. And he came over and there's like a table in between us. And I told him what happened. I said, there's three. I might have misconstrued it, but I think I told him there's three sheriffs that attacked me. I think I said it like that, when realistically it was more like one that attacked me, but they came at me in three. And so he was shocked that I told him that. He was really shocked, and he told me, listen, this is the guy you need to talk to, ERIK WOLFF, and he's starting to write your name down. He's starting to write it down, and next thing I know, the African-American sheriff, he's running over, he's charging over me, like, and I immediately fear, like, because this guy looks like he's means business, like because I'm not even, technically, I'm not inside the courtroom, because I'm not past I guess I'm inside the courtroom, but I'm not fully in the courtroom.
I can explain that to you in a couple minutes.
Okay. So then the African American's charging at me, and I don't know what his intentions are. Like, he looks like he's gonna attack me. So immediately I said, he's got a gun. He's got a gun. And he slowed down. He slowed down very quickly. And then I think, because the sheriff that was to writing your name down, ERIK WOLFF, he was looking at him like, stop, like, what's going on? Like, and I think he stopped him just by turning his head and looking at him. And then so the African American had to explain himself to him. And I told them what happened, and then the African American sheriff said, nobody even touched this guy. Nobody even touched this guy. So physically, no one touched me, but they touched my belongings.
But they took your selfie stick.
Right.
Is that the same selfie stick?
This is the same one.
Okay.
Same exact one. And so I was in a bit of a rage, and I told him that you're going to lose your job. You can't attack people. You can't do this to people. I think I told him that they're going to melt his badge. This is what they do to dirty cops. They melt your badge down, and you're going to lose your job. Like a crucible, like a dirty cop, I was in a bit of rage. So I probably said some things I probably shouldn't have said.
Okay.
But I was really angry that, and then because at first he seemed like a pretty nice guy when he approached me on the 12th floor. But when he started charging at me at the bottom entrance, that really was like,
Okay, because you said they trespassed you. When did they tell you were trespassed?
I believe that, I can't remember exactly, but I believe when they were exiting me out of the building. One of them said that. I believe it was I think it was the white guy, the big white guy that said that.
The bigger of the two white guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he says that you're
Was
not.
that the same guy that took your selfie
Yes.
stick? Okay.
And he said you're not allowed to come back here. You're trespassed or something like that. And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know that. I find out later on that you're trespassed for the day and not for the forever. And so I just wanted to get their names, informations of the people involved so I could report them.
Okay.
And I felt like the African American guy was going to attack me. I don't remember the sheriff's name that was sitting there, but he stopped him. He definitely stopped him from.
You said it was an older white guy?
Older
Was he
white
short
guy.
Tall guy?
Tall guy, long, gray,
Hair.
wavy hair, not fully gray, kind of like brown and
Okay. Salt and pepperish?
salt pepperish. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably 6'3".
Okay.
Big guy, nice guy, really friendly.
So when the marshal was taking your selfie stick, at what point did you feel your arm start to hurt?
That's right away. Like, so I'm holding the bottom of it and he's pulling from the top, and immediately I felt like a surge of pain in my forearm. So I let go because, for one, I feel the pain. Secondly, I don't know what these guys are gonna do, if they're gonna say like I'm resisting arrest, if they're gonna, So there's two reasons why I let go, because I felt pain in my arm and I felt like they were gonna charge me or arrest me with a crime.
Okay. So you told them you were injured. Did you ever ask to be seen by an aid crew,
No,
like Seattle Fire, to come up and look you over?
no, I didn't. I don't have expenses for calling ambulances because it's on me, right?
Well, if we call the fire department is taxpayer funded. So if they come out and assess you on scene, their services are paid for by your taxes. If you take an ambulance ride, usually that's not the fire department that does it. They go back and reset, and it's a private company that transports you after that. That would be where a cost would come in.
See, I didn't know that. I just thought once they're called, I'm billed, and I wasn't offered anything either. I mean, like I didn't. Maybe they weren't educated either. But there was the X-ray people, and they were looking, watching the whole thing happen, and it was so.
Okay. So did you ever seek out medical treatment for?
No, I've never been to the doctor for it.
Never been to the doctor for it? Have you lost work as a result of?
I definitely stayed home for a week after that.
Were you working at the time?
I was, yes.
What were you doing?
I worked for Honeywell Aerospace.
Honeywell Aerospace. Oh,
Yeah.
what do you do?
So I'm a technician. We make accelerometers that go inside missiles.
Mm-hmm.
They're the guidance systems that go inside missiles, and basically we test them. So we build them, like we have a clean room that builds them. I don't build them, but I test them. I make sure that they're 100%
Working properly.
Before they're sent to the person, the entity.
How long have you worked for Honeywell?
4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Are you still working for them?
No.
What happened?
Just had some disagreements and quit.
Okay. When did you quit?
I don't have a date. I don't know. Probably.
Was it this year or last year?
It was this year, or no? It was last year. It was last year. Yeah.
Okay. Have you been working since?
I do odd jobs, so I work from home. So I do like computer stuff and
Okay.
yeah.
So like IT stuff?
IT stuff, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the video you posted to YouTube of this event. Tell me about that video, the one the whole video that you posted.
So to finish the video, after I left after they gave me ERIK Wolff's number, and after that interaction was done, I left the facility, and there were 2 Seattle police officers standing outside, and I wanted their opinion because they're police officers, and I said, because I was unsure, because maybe I was in the wrong, and I wasn't sure, so I wanted some reassurance that maybe I'm not supposed to be in there. That was like my first time filming in the courthouse, so I asked the officer for his opinion, there were two officers. One on the left, he wanted to stay out of it. He didn't want to give his opinion. There was a gray-haired officer, and I told him, I said, if someone was to walk in a courthouse and start filming, and a sheriff takes his selfie stick and his phone from him, that's wrong, right? Like, I can't just walk up and start grabbing your ammunition off you, your magazines. I think I said something like that, and I pretended to reach at his vest. And he's like, of course not. You're not supposed to touch anyone. But he says there's a lot of variables. There's a lot of things that could happen that would allow them to do that. And I said, if I'm not doing nothing but filming, just filming, and this guy grabs my stick, I'm actually leaving the building. I'm no longer in the courtroom. And he kind of like treaded around the question, but eventually he says, I would sue them. You want my advice? I would sue them immediately. And he was really adamant, I sue the sheriffs or the King County sheriffs. He was really adamant about that. And we left it at that. It was like, once you say you should sue them, I assume my understanding is they've done absolute wrong from my description of the events.
A sue can mean a lot of things. So it usually means there's a difference of opinion in something, and we're going to let a judge sort it out.
Usually when you sue someone, it's for money, right? It's monetary.
Not always.
Okay.
And usually, most of the time, yeah, that's for some monetary gain or some discrepancy. Sometimes people sue for other reasons, that they have other remedies that they have in mind.
Right.
That's kind of a rarity, though. Usually it's over money. So, but when I called you and we set this interview up, you said you combined 3 videos to make you merged 3 videos.
I merged them. So I have what's called iMovie. It comes on iPhone. It's an application on your phone that's already installed on your phone. And basically you can take your movies that are inside your videos in your album, and you can combine them. So like obviously he turned my camera off on the 12th floor, right? So it's no more recording. So when I'm outside, I start another recording, and I go around and I film the sheriff and the security guard. And then I go back inside, and I film about the ERIK WOLFF getting your information. Okay. And then I think as I'm leaving, I turned it off because I thought that was it. I'm leaving the courthouse. Well, I see the 2 police officers, so I turn it on again because I want their advice. And so when you merge the videos, you just you click. There's a check mark. So like you go to iMovie, you click on each video, and you click like merge, and it combines them. It doesn't edit them or nothing. It doesn't take nothing out. It just combines them into one.
In their entirety.
Right.
So nothing's chopped out,
nothing's edited, chopped out.
Nothing's altered.
Nothing's altered.
Where one finishes, the next one begins?
Right. You just see like the overlap. You see like the kind of like how it fades into the next one.
Okay.
It just fades over like.
And that's something the application does automatically, or is
automatically
that a
setting
does it? Or is that a setting that you chose?
It automatically does it. I have no control about that.
Okay. If you remember back when I first talked to you on December 11th, thereabouts, the day after the incident.
Right.
You didn't want to tell me who you were.
I mean, so what we do is not. People don't like what we do, First Amendment audits and stuff like that. So like we're not liked by law enforcement. We're not liked by a lot of the public. And when someone's trying to obtain my name, it could be for good or bad reasons. And I try to never give out my name because I don't know if you're trying to charge me with a crime.
I like to ask so I know how to address you.
I'm Glenn. My name is Glenn.
So, and that's what I was looking for that day.
Okay. I think I told you I'm good citizen.
Yes.
And you mentioned that you would have some USB drives waiting for me, and I never came because I have a lot of. I just don't believe in our law enforcement anymore. You know what I mean? Like I feel really. How do I explain it? I just lost faith in a lot of our law enforcement. So when someone tells me that they're going to investigate their own police, I almost don't believe it. I was really shocked that you called me a second time and you sent me the letter.
I had to send you the letter because You didn't want to talk to me the first time on the phone, so I was hoping a letter you would take serious. That you would see that, yes, we want to talk to you, we want to get your side of it.
And
that you would come down
and
do exactly what you're doing now.
I was really shocked that, to me, that I felt like you're doing justice. You're doing the right thing.
Because you realize within the sheriff's office, and Seattle Police has their own mechanism for this too, their own division that does this, is when I do my investigation, I package it up and I don't determine punishments or this was committed or this wasn't. I gather the evidence and I pass it up and other people make that determination. But part of that process is our Office of Law Enforcement Oversight, which are not part of the sheriff's office. They're employed by the county council. They oversee and they actually go through all those investigations and look over them. So we are monitored by a separate branch.
Okay.
So yes, we investigate our own. That's traditionally the way it's been done. But we the investigators are monitored by other investigators.
I see. And I didn't know that. I guess I never really dealt with the sheriff.
That's why it sounded like you didn't know, so that's why I wanted to tell you.
No, that's good. I'm glad that you got
Ours is called the Office of Law Enforcement Oversight.
Oh, okay. Is there like an acronym for that?
OLEO.
OLEO.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We refer to it as OLEO.
It's kind of like OPA.
Yes.
Okay.
That's Seattle's.
Right. Okay.
I think the FBI uses a similar acronym for theirs.
Okay. Yeah. First I've heard of it. So I mean that's good to know, and I'm glad you took this claim seriously because I mean I thought I was just gonna walk away and.
But to let you know, the courtroom that you happen to go into, that's courtroom 1201. That's the room number. That's where all arraignments are done, and at least for King County, we in the adult courts. So both here in the RJC, we have courtrooms that are configured similarly. Meaning, when you walk in, when you walk into the courtroom and you're inside the courtroom, you have a spectator area separated by a plexiglass wall. They put that up there for safety reasons. The jail brings people that are in custody through a separate door into that area. They don't want people that are in custody that are already inmates having an easy exit.
Okay.
So they put that wall up there to keep inmates in. The only people that go inside that room are people that have official business. Lawyers, court reporters. You will see people from off the street go in there, meaning that they're there for their First Amendment, but they're not in custody, they're out of custody. But when it's their turn for arraignment, they get called up and they have to go inside that inner door where you spoke to the court reporter, and then they have their attorney there, the prosecutor's there, the judge is there. And the judge does whatever they're going to do with their case.
So it's a secured courtroom.
It's a secured courtroom.
How about on the opposite side where I was, where you could just walk?
That's part of the courtroom. And
Okay.
when you enter any courtroom, and I'm sure this goes for all 50 states, it's certainly here in King County, you have to obtain a judge's permission for us to record in their courtroom.
And I understand that. I do understand that.
So once you came in, the hallway into 1201 is very slim. It's kind of narrow, and you got benches on the one side where the windows are.
Yeah.
Once you get to that double door and enter through the double doors, you are now technically inside the courtroom, and then you need the judge's permission to record.
See, and as I walk into these facilities, I always film signage, and there was no signage that showed that, as far as I saw, and even in the video, you cannot see any signs that said this is a courtroom and no filming allowed and things of that nature,
But and generally speaking, in the courtroom, in the courthouse, you can record. However, there could be an exception to that, and a judge would make that determination and put that order out.
Right.
And depending on the trial, depending on who's being tried for what crime or what's going on with the jury, they might potentially say there's no recording for these dates in the King County Courthouse, period.
And I do understand in Washington State, a lot of the judges do make they do say, like, if you can or can't record, like they control the courtroom, right?
The courtroom is their jurisdiction.
Okay, here's the thing though. This is the people's courtroom. We the people, right? Like,
you can go in there. You can go in there and you can be a spectator.
Okay.
And it's a very rare occurrence that they lock spectators out. I haven't seen it here. But you can go in there and you can be a spectator and you can sit down and you can make your notes. So you can watch. That's why, occasionally on the nightly news they'll report about a court proceeding. There's no video, there's no photos, but you'll see a sketch.
So you're saying like the First Amendment right has no effect inside a courtroom?
It's a limited right.
Limited.
There are limits to your First Amendment rights. Like you can't go into a crowded theater and shout fire.
No,
Correct. You
cannot
do that.
No.
So your First Amendment rights, it is there, and it's imperative that we guard them, but they do have limits. And entering a courtroom is where some of those limits really start to come in. If you coordinate with a judge, usually it's not an issue as long as you prearrange.
But if he didn't tell me exactly to leave and stop
His
recording,
staff did.
the lady did. She
His
wanted,
staff.
but he should have said something too.
Not necessarily.
No.
She works for him. That's
Okay.
part of her job. That's the bailiff.
I almost felt like, oh, she's the bailiff.
That's the bailiff. Think in Washington State, bailiffs have a different role than they do in some other states. Some other states, the bailiff is a uniformed officer standing there in the courtroom for security. We don't have an officer in every courtroom here. The bailiff in many courtrooms here, they do a variety of things. They monitor the court proceedings. They pull up paperwork for the judge. They prepare
It's a
paperwork to
clerk.
give to a defendant.
It's a
Kind
clerk.
of a clerk position, but
Okay.
they call it bailiff, and they also follow the judge. So if the judge says, "Hey, get him to stop recording," it's going to be the bailiff that comes up and tell you.
And I guess she didn't really say stop recording. I think she said like she alerted him I was recording.
Okay.
Well, no, I think she did come out the first time, but yeah, she did tell me.
But just know that when you go into a courtroom, you really should obtain permission first before you record.
Okay.
You don't know what's going on inside the courtroom or what you might inadvertently record that is not meant to be, or they're trying to protect someone else's right to privacy.
And I can understand like personal information, birth date, stuff like that, but like we should have nothing to hide, right? Like how we're open right now. I wouldn't care if someone was recording me walking down the street. I wouldn't care because
I don't care that you're recording me right now.
Right.
So, but not everybody's that way. Some people petition the court to not allow our recordings in the courtroom.
And people think that there's
And
something to hide, like
Not
they don't.
necessarily. Just some people are very, very private. You have a distrust of the police, okay? But some people are that way with their privacy. They want absolute privacy.
Right.
And we have to try to do our best to work within our system and to respect their rights without infringing on others.
Exactly.
Just like you can record, but if I'm taking a police action, I tell you can record, but record from over there. That's where you have to go. If you don't go there, you can now be considered obstructing.
So like if I'm in the courtroom and you tell me to record from this side,
Yes.
and so you gave me the permission only from that area,
Yes.
which
Or
would be
and that would go out to the street too. One time we were dealing with someone that was drunk and disorderly at a football game. Some people wanted to come up and record. I didn't care that they were recording. I told him to stand back. He came up, and the reason I told him to stand back is he was putting everybody in danger, including himself. I'm there to deal with this situation, so I'm going to deal with it and everything that might go along with that. He was interfering. He was also interfering with us de-escalating.
okay.
You come up and want to put your camera there. If that drunk person doesn't want to be filmed while they're drunk and perhaps acting in a manner that they don't normally act,
It could be hostile.
that they could consider that hostile. And your action, you didn't intend it, could be an unintended consequence.
So I triggered
when
their
we-
reaction.
You could. So when we tell you to move away, we're asking to move away for a particular reason. You can record, just record from over there.
Okay. And then when they caught me outside the door, technically I was already exited the courtroom, right? Like they caught
Yes.
me, so they should have just said, okay, he's out, let's just take him out. But there was no need to grab the camera. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, again, I still have to interview the officers and find out
Okay.
exactly why they took the actions that they took. Because I need to know what was told to the officers before they came up too.
right? The
They-
judge said something, or
So if the judge said, "Hey, I gave this order and he didn't abide by it, do this," then they might have had a different justification for doing it than one that you're not aware of,
But
one
if-
that I'm not aware of.
yeah, if he didn't give me that order, but he gave them that order, you see what I'm
Yes.
saying? He said two different things. It's conflicting.
Could be.
So
But that's why I'm investigating, and I'll gather all that up, and I will pass that on.
correct.
And someone else will weigh all that out.
And then what I've kind of gathered is maybe that this guy's a problem, this marshal that I encountered. From the way we spoke previously, I feel like he's had other instances, not just with me. Maybe I misinterpreted that, but I feel like maybe you've had a problem with him before.
No.
Okay. Because a lot of people in my comments were saying that too on the, I think. Okay. Because I
No,
just.
he's not been a problem for me, so
Okay.
I don't get complaints on him. People that come in and out of the courthouse, actually, I routinely catch them talking to them and purposely stopping to chat and engage them in conversation.
And that's fine, stopping and
So-
talking. But when you get physical, that's another story, you know? and there's no need to get physical. I'm not armed. I'm not dangerous. I've already been checked in the front door. He could have just said leave and let's go, and that's it. He didn't need to grab the camera in the hallway. You know, it was unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary.
Okay, well, I got the information I need to get from you for today.
Okay.
So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up.
Sure.
Okay, and the time is now 14:54 hours.
Okay.
And I'll escort you to the.
I was
straight to the
expecting
door.
like a uniform. I was surprised you're not wearing the.
No, I sit at the desk all day.
Okay.
I don't need to wear 50 pounds worth of police gear.
Exactly. There you go.
So just remember, if you're reporting in the building, that's okay, but if you go into a courtroom, that can be considered something completely different.
Okay. Can I expect a letter in the mail or?
Someone will contact you with the outcome of the investigation.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
All right, thank you for coming down.
Yep. Exit. Right.
Don't push the door. It moves by itself.
Oh.